7:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Trustee Moore?
Present. Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Sir?
Here.
Trustee McCann?
Present.
Here.
Okay. Would everyone please rise for the pledge of allegiance?
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. There aren't agendas for everyone because it's just basically two agenda items, borrowing funds and the annual meeting. So, the subject tonight is, first of all, using road district funds for the township, and we're waiting to hear from the road commissioner on the terms that he would like for that.
Well, how much funds do you need? That's up to,
The average of what it costs for the township is about $100,000 a month for what's budgeted.
so you're asking for the whole thing? The whole, the 300,000 that you gave us last month, your last meeting? The return, well, that's what you want, right?
Well, yesterday,
In order to get by.
to do payroll, Betty and I came and saw you, and you returned the check for $300,000, and payroll was done, and all the bills are paid, they've been approved by the board. I do have the check here for $200,000, because if I were to make it for the $300,000, it'd be in the negative, and I'm not willing to issue a check without funds behind it. So, you also asked for the check back to pay the bank for $250,000, so that was returned to you.
Yeah, when we get all the paperwork from the bank, then we'll do that, and pay it.
Sure.
But what are you gonna need to get by for the rest of the?
I'm surprised in a way, Linda, that you're showing, giving Jack back 200,000. We know we need another 100,000 to operate through March.
I can void the check, whatever the board would like to do is fine.
And I see you wrote the check already, and I think this was premature because
Well,
we gotta have enough funds to operate for March.
the board took action to pay this money to the road district.
Right,
So I paid as much as we had to pay.
right.
So I'm following the board's direction.
In essence, we paid the road district the money we owed them, but then we had to borrow money back in order to function because our funds were so bad. And we need at least 200,000 to get us through March. And here on our forms, Linda has already written another check to give back Jack 200, but we can't give him back that 200. We need another 100 just to give through March. I don't know what we're gonna do through April and May and half of June, or 3/4 of June.
Okay, Betty, so if you'd like, I can void this check. It's up to the board, I just need a
Well,
motion.
I need some input from Mr. Cohn and Jack. Also, I feel, I mean, we owe Jack, let me see, $84,000, $8,454.59 from bills that we did approve that he hasn't been paid, and I want those paid back to him too, because I want to get things cleaned up. And these bills were approved to be paid, and they haven't been paid.
Well, Betty, those are part of mediation, and if the highway commissioner would like to return to mediation, the only thing that we're waiting for is his proof of personally incurring those expenses for the health insurance.
Well, that's really none of our business per se. Our agreement was we would pay Jack, and this is for his health insurance for his wife.
Right, but if he has not incurred those expenses, we've got a problem.
Well, this is a personal thing. We have to live up to our
Do you
side
have an
of the
insurance
coin.
card, Jack? Do you have an insurance card? Yeah. Do they pay your healthcare bills?
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I.
Which means he has coverage, which means he has to be paying the premium in order to have coverage.
This isn't for him, it's for
I
his
know it's
wife,
for
and
who it's for,
her
and
Medicare
I'm just saying, I know it is. It's for the Blue Cross Blue
And
Shield
she's
Medicare
refusing
supplement.
the township
Okay.
Medicare supplement.
So, no, okay, we're gonna back up here, because back, if I'm not mistaken, it was April 9th, 2009, she's not refusing the township insurance. In fact, Linda, we have the memo that you wrote telling everybody on the
You
board,
know,
going,
Barb-
this would be a good idea. I'm just trying to straighten out
Since it's
stuff
on
that,
the
sweetie,
agenda.
I don't care, you brought it up, okay, so
It's a
you brought it
violation
up.
of the Open Meetings
Hon,
Act.
no, it's not, because you brought it up. All right, so I'm just reiterating that she didn't refuse the township insurance. It was cheaper to do it that way, and you wrote the memo to the board saying, you know what, I think this would be a really good idea. So I just want it on record.
And we did approve it.
And it was approved.
Can we
And
get
you gotta
back
pay
to
that.
the agenda item, please, about borrowing funds?
Okay.
According to
Go
Linda,
off on a
it's
tangent.
better,
Anyway,
it's better not to pay a $300 bill and incur a $20,000 legal bill.
all right, look
to
at this.
arbitrate.
Right.
That's Linda's
All I
answer
need-
to everything.
okay.
That's why we have the money problem we have.
Anyway,
He's failed to
the
provide
fact
that proof.
of the matter is that he has coverage, and if the supplement is paying,
That's
they
not the
paid
argument.
premium. Anyway,
I need proof that he actually incurred those expenses. Didn't you
No,
provide?
you don't.
Yeah.
Once we make the approval,
Provided
it's
her-
our duty to pay the bill. I mean, if that's our agreement, that's what you
that's
gotta
his
do.
thing. Okay.
Linda,
And that was
tell us
the
what he
agreement.
gave you regarding
Okay,
Darlene.
all
It ain't all about Linda, it's all about the board. The board, not Linda.
An audit trail.
Linda is nothing more than a stubborn person who will not pay what we tell her to pay.
Basically, all right, so we got figures. So we got March, April, and May, correct?
Right.
Always about
You're
Linda.
part of June. You
What
could
Linda
have,
wants to do all the
you could
time.
have 2 payrolls in June before we get our tax money.
Okay. Whatever you guys would like to work out with Jeff is fine.
You don't have to borrow it all at once.
Now, my whole thing is, you had sent me a letter about this and asking me to take the lead on this.
Speaking with the highway commissioner, correct?
Yeah. First off, for 3+ years, all I've been hearing about is that you're the CEO and the CFO of the township. I'm sorry, no matter what we have said along the way, you've never cooperated or whatever. Now all of a sudden, you're in trouble. Now you want me to take the lead on it. Linda, you don't know how to problem solve, you only know how to cause them.
We need to
So,
solve problems.
Jeff, we
and stop
need
the person
at
on the
least
track.
300,000 again, don't we?
To be able to function, yes.
Well, I hate to tell you
Back in the
this.
same boat we
Hey,
were
say this,
before
Barbara.
last week.
Yes.
Realistically, you're back right in the same boat we were in.
You're out of
before
order,
last week.
Right.
Tim, you can do
I
public
hate to tell
comment.
you this, Barbara.
Yes, dear.
Thank you.
I think the board should vote to let the public
Yeah.
comment
But
at
you
any
pushed
time
this through against my vote.
in this issue.
You pushed it down through David Batch, without my vote, you did it, you went around it. That's why I voted no on it.
Okay.
But,
We wouldn't need to borrow money if you'd have voted my way.
no,
No.
but we had to vote the way we did to satisfy the electors.
Right.
That was voted
That's-
on.
What's the point to give back and borrow
I know.
back? And what is the point in all that when you needed the liquidity in the first place?
Right. Well, it's to clean up areas that we
She
made.
burned up $800,000 in legal fees.
Okay, Jerry, you're off subject.
No, I'm not off subject. You burned up $800,000 in legal fees. That's why we need all this money. You know that. Everybody should know that. Including this audience should know that.
$70,000.
And Linda,
That's
you
all you
filed the
do
first
is cause lawsuit
Let's
after
stop.
lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit.
Half-truths, half-truths, half-truths.
All right.
Twist it around.
We need to
Deflect,
focus on the
deflect,
agenda.
deflect.
Let's keep it here on a narrow
You had a
track.
lawsuit with Jack, not with the board. You had a lawsuit with Opry,
Jerry,
not with the board.
focus on the agenda.
It is.
I'm focusing on your
Right
lawsuit.
here.
Your lawsuit.
Focus on the agenda.
All right. I need input from Jack and Attorney Pat Combs on procedure here.
From the perspective of the road
I'd
district,
like the room to quiet down so we can accomplish business. If you can't keep quiet, we'll have to ask you to leave so we can get our work done.
from the perspective of the road district, the issue of borrowing money from the road district was discussed last meeting, and there is a statute that says that the township can borrow from the road district for up to 1 year monies.
Right, right.
The problem that we ran into is that according to statute, Jack has to have a line item in order to borrow money, otherwise he needs to amend his budget to lump any monies that he has not had need to in order to then fund any loan process.
Right,
That would take too much time in order to meet the payroll.
right.
So the argument then became, what about returning the check and allowing the board to, in essence, forestall paying the entire $300,000? And Jack is willing to entertain that. And if you need $100,000 a month until the new fiscal year, when Jack can then have a new budget and can put a line item in concerning borrowing money, then it seems to me that $200,000 will get you through the month of February and the month of March,
Right.
which will get you to the end of this fiscal year.
Right.
Starting in April, it's a new fiscal year, and therefore Jack has a new budget. Jack can then fashion that budget in order to, if needed, lend money to the township for up to 1 year with a new budget and a new line item concerning any funds.
Okay.
That's in essence what's happening. Jack also has to be aware of his responsibility to all of the electorate, that he also needs money in order to operate until the next tax bills come due in June, so he can't basically take care of certain items. He has to wait in order to do that. He has road projects scheduled for next year. He has other items scheduled for next year. He can, to a certain extent, put off those items, but he can't ignore the fact that he is going to still need that money in order to accomplish what his budget goals are. So the long and the short of it is, to get the township through the rest of the fiscal year, what he's hearing is it takes $100,000 a month, and he's willing to forego $200,000 of the $300,000 to get the township through the end of this fiscal year, which is March 31st of 2013.
Jack, how much is in your money market and how long has it been there?
I don't know, they won't show me.
About $500,000, and you do know, you have seen that on the monthly
Yeah.
statement.
I can only give you,
You've had $500,000 sitting idle for 12 months at least.
I can only spend 10% of it. You gotta, I can only give you 10% of it.
Now,
Which isn't a whole lot of money.
I want the people to know, I did a little research, maybe going into tax anticipation warrants. The bank won't borrow us any money for tax anticipation warrants because we'd only have the audit done for 11/12.
That was the response from Harris Bank. I have not heard back from Heartland or American
There's
Community.
not a bank that's gonna give you any money without an audit.
We don't know until we find out. There's no point
Well,
in making assumptions.
We know, I mean, I think everybody who uses their common sense that possibly,
If you want to, give it a little bit of time, we can get an answer from these other banks. But until we have an answer, we don't know what it is.
so,
I'm going along with what Jeff says.
right.
Okay, so just keep the check that he returned and use that, correct? So
Now.
there'll be no loan, no borrowing.
Do we,
I'd like public comment open for this.
what I would like to be able to do though is make a specific,
Do you want to make a motion?
limit.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Right.
Time limit, I don't want this dragging out.
the thing I would like to see happen, that when our first tax money comes in June, that we're able to pay Jack $100,000. When we get the tax statement in September, hoping maybe we can pay it all off at that time. That's my goal. And that's the reason I'm running again, only to keep a continuity in all this. This is where we're at.
Barb, did you want to propose a motion about
Propose a
some kind of
motion.
time limit?
What you
Well,
need-
but
If you need,
what do we need? Barb, what else do we need from Jack?
I'm not sure we need anything from Jack, if this is the way we're going.
Half a pint of blood, I don't know.
Okay. So Barb, did you have a motion to make or no? Are you going to hear public comment?
Not yet. We're not there yet. Okay, how do I word this one now?
well,
What goes
I do
in?
want to be back by September so that the road district can go ahead with their paying
Right,
for their road projects. Plus, that way we know we can put it in the budget for
right,
this visit,
right.
this year that's coming up, you know.
Well, that's the reason I would like to pay you like 100,000 when our June money comes in, and then pay you the balance, whatever we owe you in September, so that I know you need this money back for the road work you gotta do.
I would like a motion approving Jack returning that money to the town, and a motion approving his getting back the check for $250,000, what happened yesterday. I'd like an official motion.
You already spent part of that money, you took
You're
that.
out of order, you will be able to do public comment.
I don't,
Too late by then.
can we ask the crowd for public comments
Comment.
before we make this motion? I want some feedback from the people here.
But Betty, all I'm saying is, I would like to have us take official action, putting on paper what happened yesterday. You and I worked together. Jack returned the check for $300,000, we returned the check to him. Just a motion affirming that action. Okay, I'm not moving forward, I'm just documenting what we did yesterday, so we can pay the bills and payroll.
All right, I'll make the motion that,
Public comment. Make a motion for public comment.
I would like a motion for public comments first. I need some feedback. I need some direction.
Second, Betty, we took these actions yesterday, and I don't want this to be something that you and I did, and it's not been done on record,
Right.
okay? We can listen to them and, move forward regarding their comments, but what happened yesterday needs to be put in the record.
All right.
Betty made a motion to open up for public comment. Was there a second?
Second.
That was the first thing that happened.
Okay, all in favor, roll call vote?
Trustee Zerk,
Yes.
trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Supervisor Moore,
No.
trustee McMahon.
No.
Motion fails. Now,
Hold it.
okay.
There's
so-
2-2 tie. The clerk is the
No, clerk
tiebreaker.
only votes if there's a vacancy of office. The motion fails.
When there's a 2-2
No, ma'am.
tie, because Rob is not here, the clerk is the deciding vote.
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, it
Only
is.
votes
I didn't bring my
when
book, I
there's a
should have.
vacancy of office.
You passed
No.
motions last week.
Clerk, you can remove her from office right now.
No, when there's a tie, if there's a person missing, we still have a quorum, but when there is a tie, the clerk is the deciding vote.
No, ma'am.
Yes,
Right in
yes.
the statute, no.
Yes, it is.
Lawyer, what do you
It's all
think?
statute.
What's the
We
statute
need a
say?
legal
Sorry?
opinion.
What's the statute?
Represent the township.
The motion fails. Okay, Betty, I'd like a motion to affirm what happened yesterday.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Well, I would like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Can we call for a second vote? I would like to call for a second vote on Betty's original
We've
motion.
already voted on the motion.
I can call for a second vote on the motion that Betty put out there for public comment to be next.
I'll second that.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Zerk,
Yes.
supervisor Moore,
No.
trustee McMahon.
It's okay. I'll change my vote.
Okay. If you want to make public comment, I need you to sign in. Have you written on the sheet that you want to make public comment?
Yes.
We don't have to sign in. Just let
We
me-
just voted to open it up to public comment.
Doesn't matter.
Should be
Sign
any-
it.
Anybody?
they did sign the sheet.
Joseph Bocani.
All right. I'd like to make a comment about the meeting that we had this last week. We had 2 lawyers that saved our butt. Now this proves Linda wrong, saying that we do not need lawyers. She uses her own lawyer to run this township, and then when the lawyer gives her the bogus information, she blames the lawyer, she blames the judge, she blames everybody but herself. Now, one more thing is, the meeting that's coming up, the Roberts Rules of Order should not be on the agenda for the annual meeting, because some lawyers have proved, submitted written statements, opinions, that they're in conflict with the statutes. And therefore, if it's against the statute, you can't use Robert's Rules of Order in the annual meeting. So it's one thing the clerk should not put on the agenda. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Burns?
All right, I really want to do what Jerry does. I really want to yell and scream, but I'm not going to. Because this is so angering to everyone, what's going on and inflammatory. Betty brought up some good points, and then you want to throw out it's in mediation. It's in mediation. Get together with your lawyer, get together with Jack's lawyer, your lawyer, Jack's lawyer, get together, drop mediation, pay the bill. At this point, you know, I sat there and came in here tonight, and I'm thinking that the loan was paid off for $300,000 to Jack. Now Jack's returned the check. So everything that you voted on last week is undone. Without a meeting, you made payroll without a meeting, without approving everything. You went ahead and you did this. This is wrong, what you've done, your procedure. You proceeded before your meeting tonight, which was called because you didn't have the money. You spent the $300,000 from Jack, yet you turned around and got back together with Jack and voided that check. Everything you do on checks is wrong. Everything you do with your procedures is wrong. You have a chance here tonight, give him back his $300,000, borrow the $300,000 back from him as a separate function and close out that other deal instead of intermingling it, which is what you're doing here tonight. You're saying, okay, we're going to give you $200,000, Jack, instead of the $300,000, which you voted on. So everything is wrong. Now, you still refuse to negotiate. You still refuse to do things. If I were Jack and you didn't pay that $800,000 bill that was voted on, I wouldn't lend you a dime. I'd take that $300,000 and I'd cash it. I'd cash it, I'd pay off my loan that he's got, and then I would stick you with your misery that you caused yourself. And at this point, this township ought to be shut down because of the misery you're causing yourself, because you won't, none of you will get together and work together and get rid of the damn lawyers. You don't need a lawyer involved in this. You don't need a lawyer to pay back what is due to be paid back to Jack for his insurance that you guys agreed on earlier. Pay it. How much money have you spent fighting it because of your principles when it was legally given to him? Pay the bill, and if you don't pay the bill, Jack, the answer should be no. Cash your $300,000 check. Make a rewrite you that $300,000 check. which was approved by the board, was given to you last week. That was wrong for you to give that back so they could cover their butts. Because they got themselves in this pickle. That's why you called this meeting tonight, was to come and ask you for the money, not before this meeting. And you did it before the meeting. And that is wrong. And I'm not sure what you did is legal. Any of you.
They and
To
you.
cover your butt.
They and you, this has nothing to do with me, because I wasn't involved in it at all. No phone calls, no discussion, nothing. Didn't know.
I'll disassociate you then.
Thank you.
Okay, but you did it. You paid bills that you didn't have money to pay because you took money from another place that wasn't legal to take probably. You should have let that money go through it. Jack, you should have never gave it back. Because you may never get it back at this point. So that's my public comment. If I were voting on this tonight, Jack, I'd tell them, suffer until the end. Take your tax warrants, get everything done. Linda, pay your $10,000 somehow, but you don't pay it out of my bill. This is ridiculous. You better start getting along. You just need to turn around and pay Jack what he's got due coming. I wouldn't lend you a dime until you paid the bills that they had voted on to pay.
Tim Mack.
Tim Hoff, I've got a couple comments on the same issue, a couple of major concerns. Number one, the money that was to be paid back to Jack was to pay off the loan. He's paying interest on that loan, if I remember right. He gives you that back because of decisions made on the township level, nothing to do with road district level. It's costing him more money in interest, number one. Number two, if he does give the township the money to lend it, to make it work, which I can understand that, there's bills that are going to be paid, there's going to be things that need to be done. Jack is retiring. I am a candidate for highway commission. This could end up being my problem. I don't want to see that happen because the original deal with the building, we're not going back there, it's like peeking head against that yellow wall, was supposed to be taken care of years ago. It wasn't. It took 3 years to do that. There's no way the road district can sustain to bail out the township right now and not have a guarantee of some shape or form. The latest he can have that money back in the road district is September. Because you do your road work in the summer, that's when those bills are going to come due. If he's $200,000 short regardless, now the road district has a huge problem because they've got projects that need to be done that they won't have the money to pay for because they had it at one point, but they helped out the township and now you're going to be sitting there with your thumb in the wind. So I'm very concerned. I've already talked to Jack and expressed my concerns about it. Like I said, my problems are twofold. One is a citizen's concern, and the other is there is possibly that could be me sitting in that chair and having to deal with it and unwind it. I don't want another mess. I don't want any lawyers. I don't want any legal bills. Everybody should be able to get along, period. So if you can make it work to do good by everybody, that's fine. If there's going to be any kind of fighting about getting the money back to Jack, it's going to cost him more in interest. I don't think the road district can afford to do this. Thank you.
Jim Fender.
Well, Jim, welcome to my world. I have been crucified in the press for 4 years for fighting this woman. I have been called part of the problem. You helped make this woman what she is today.
Hey,
Tammy,
you were wrong on that.
no.
You were wrong on that.
You were her first moderator.
Don't throw that at me. You were wrong.
No, I'm
so
not
don't throw
wrong.
your stuff out.
No, I'm not
political
wrong.
game.
You told
Stop.
me you didn't vote for her, and that's fine.
You had your turn. Go ahead.
You were her
The
first
electors
moderator.
voted him to be moderator,
Tim,
not Linda
you
Moore.
had your turn.
Okay, you helped empower her. Tammy, you sat here for 2 years, and you helped empower her. Don't give me this.
You're right, I was, but Jim Kearns was not.
I
You never find
understand.
my
He
name
never
on
signed
anything.
I
anything.
understand.
Guys,
Let's
this
get
is
on
one
to today's
person
problem.
at a
Staying
time.
out of it.
One
There
person
are-
at a time.
There are a lot of us, Tim, in this room that may be sitting up there in the future, and we're going to be stuck with this mess that this woman has created. I want to know, I have heard June, July, you're going to get tax money. When is it?
Well, we should get our tax money in June, if the bills are on time.
If the county does things on time, so it could be July.
Well, I hope to God that they're
How
on
much do you
time.
normally get in July?